Skull and Bones releases this weekend. Thanks to the fine folks over at Ubisoft, we had a little early access to the game. And here are the 5 things I learned along the way that I think you need to know heading in. Number 1, always be harvesting. Harvesting takes up a good portion of the opening tutorial. Once it's over, though, it's tempting to just start gathering all of your materials through plundering. But don't. Take every opportunity to harvest you can. You should be coming home each time to your base with hulls filled to the brim with different materials, because this game uses a refining system, and because of that, you will need a lot of these base materials in order to get useful supplies to craft all the ships, weapons, and furniture you need. You can boost your efficiency of harvesting through upgrading your tools. When you do have an upgraded tool, you'll see the harvesting bar breaks into multiple colors. If you can land in the purple section, you get a large bonus amount of materials. When you first start off, you'll only see a yellow and a green bar, but as you upgrade those tools, it will progress to purple. If you can manage to land in the purple, you get nearly double the amount of materials from that resource. And as we talked about earlier, being able to then put those into the refinery and be more efficient with what comes out, you will be thanking yourself in the future. Number 2, blueprint locations. If you see a shiny upgrade you would like to add to your ship, but haven't been to that location before, or simply just haven't purchased that blueprint, Skull and Bones is a very good thing of not making that a real problem. You can track blueprints from a shop. Simply hit either X or square on PlayStation or Xbox. Once you do that, it will pin it on the map, even if it's in the fog of the unknown world, which can be super useful for early exploration and just being able to rush into certain upgrade paths that you know you want to go down for a certain build for a ship. Then once you acquire this new blueprint, it will track your current materials that you have in order to build it. And if you don't have enough of the materials, it will then mark on the map the locations that you can acquire those materials from. It's super useful, especially like I said, when you're planning out a build and you're like, oh, I know I need that, but I don't know how to get to it. This makes it super easy for you to be able to know exactly what you need to be doing at any one time. Number 3, trade routes are great if you need to buy something that you can't steal. So, as we were talking about earlier, sometimes there may be materials that you require that you just know the ships that carry them, your current level, not up to snuff in order to obtain them. So how do you go about getting them? Well, the one thing I've come to do is look at the local trade routes. You'll see as you punch in, you'll see certain settlements operate as hubs for their distinct factions. These locations tend to have a ton of purchasable items at them, ones that are a bit usually harder to secure, especially if you are a lower level. So if you need something and you can't quite plunder it from that location, head on in, buy it, especially like I said, if you are at that lower level, and then you're going to be able to fast track yourself to like a higher level ship, and then maybe be able to plunder from there going forward. Number 4, hold B to set sail. Hold B or hold circle on PlayStation. I think it's safe to say that walking around in this game can sometimes feel like a bit of a drawn out menu, something that kind of feels like an afterthought and something that you want to spend the least amount of time doing. So if you're wandering around an outpost or a port and you know your business is done, you may feel like you've been mentally trained by all video games before that you have to enter where you exited from, i.e. you have to walk your way back to the dock in order to set sail, but you don't need to do that. When you're in a port or an outpost, simply hold B or circle, and it will bring you directly to the set sail menu. This is going to save you a ton of time. Once I discovered this, I was like, oh, this is just so much better, because especially when you're in a port, you know, this is, like I said, a bit of a drawn out menu, right? It's a very nice 3D space that represents a menu, and you can do certain things around here, and it's nice to be able to wander around and do stuff. But once you're done, you kind of just want a GTFO. You want to get out of there, and being able to hold that button to get out relatively quickly, super useful, and it's going to probably end up saving you hours of time if you get into this game. Finally, number 5, cooking. I know, this doesn't sound sexy, and I'll be honest, I'm not usually someone who enjoys cooking in a game, and this hint is for all of you, because I'll be honest, that's a lot for me. I don't want to have to cook anything, but currently cooking in the game is incredibly important for one thing in particular, and that's going to be your stamina replenishing fruits and vegetables, right? Basically, in each area of the game, there is some sort of local flora that, when just eaten directly, will provide a 20% recovery to your stamina, which is nice, but usually by the time the cooldown comes down on your ship, you've already used 20% of your stamina, so it's not really sustainable for long trips. However, if you then take those flora and head to a place where you can cook, doing the basic cook with those is going to double their efficiency. Like, for example, the bananas or the coconuts, bring them from a 20% energy recovery for your crew up to a 40% energy recovery for your crew. This means that you can basically be at trimmed sails, i.e. like the sprint button, the entire time on your journey, because there's way more of a buffer between the cooldown and when you can use it, and you won't run through 40% of your stamina just by waiting for the cooldown. So you don't have to invest really hard into the meals that have a lot of buffs, but if you're like me and someone who usually avoids cooking systems in game, this one I think is particularly important, and it's really nice because you can do it all at once. If you have 100 of the bananas or 100 coconuts, you can cook all of them at once, and then you have this nice supply of energy recovery items that you can then use for a good portion of time. So those are my 5 things I wish I knew before starting Skull and Bones. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Did you like this video? If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.